what, in your mind, what would you have loved to have seen the president do with a Bible in that moment instead? Regardless of how bizarre it might be or how in character or out of character it might be, what would you have wanted him to do in that moment?
What about you, Brandon? What would you have wanted him to do?
I don't know. I don't know how good my imagination is. I have a hard time imagining something that, because I think it would be very different than what we've seen. I really appreciate what both of you said. I really appreciate the idea of just opening the Bible and reading some of it. I love the juxtaposition of, he mentioned something about law and order, and what you lifted up was love and justice. And to me, that was such a just such a stark and hopeful juxtaposition to say, no, there's another. These are the themes of the Bible to guide us. I think the idea of him serving the crowd, whether it was washing the feet or giving them bottles of water, or doing something to say something to demonstrate that. I know there's a part of me that would love to. Well, definitely, there's a part of me that would love to see him just walk with them, the crowd that was already in front of the church. And there's a part of me that would have loved to have seen maybe him sit at the steps if they were stopped and then ask them to tell stories about why they're there and why this is important to them, and just listen. I mean, if that's a trip. I think that's an attribute or a reality that just feels like it's so missing right now, is the ability to listen. And I name that in myself as well. As I said in the beginning, that grief that I feel where I don't even feel like I'm speaking the same language. And part of that is because I have such a hard time hearing some of the other perspectives that just feel so antithetical to the core of my faith, if not the core of my identity. It's hard for me just to listen. I would love to see him do that. I would love to see him walk with them. I would love to see him call out Congress to write legislation. I think that's within the realm. I think that's what past presidents have done, and in other areas where our country has erupted like this. I'd love to see him weep, see him cry. I think could you imagine that? I mean, could you imagine what that would do to the news cycle, the media, what they would say if he came out and said, I don't know much about Christianity, but I know Jesus was about love and justice. And I don't understand a lot about what you guys are saying, but you look thirsty, and here's some water, and I'd love to just listen. And then to have him listen, and then maybe it listens in such a way that it breaks his heart, and he cried.
And I agree with you. I think what you said is profound. And I think part of what hearing you guys talk about justice is that in his ears, justice is law and order. And so he is enacting law and order to lead to justice. And justice is that which I believe is good or right, whatever. Our starting point of justice is a different starting point, right? And I think that's part of the national discourse that's a challenge, is that what does justice actually mean? Because we don't have a unified definition or vision of justice. And so, it would just be world changing to have a leader feel like they're trying to pull everyone together in solidarity, that we're in this together.